So when you moved here initially, how much time did it take for you to land your first full-time job?
All right. It took close to 2 months, I would say. Initially, 1 month was all the kind of pitfalls that I actually encountered. The suggestions that I mentioned earlier.
Hi Venkat, welcome back for another video. The last video we talked about the scope of IT sector, and in this video we'll get to know about your journey as a newcomer when you landed here in Canada and how you established your career in IT sector. To start it off with first question, so when we move here, right, in the initial stage of moving to a different country. What were some of the challenges that you faced in order to land a full-time job, considering that you came here again from India, you had no Canadian work experience or even no Canadian education?
Thanks for having me back, Saga, again. Yes, when you land first initially, it could be a lot of shocks fall into your lap, like the culture shock, the way how do you approach the market, how do you approach yourself to the industry as such. So you need to decide the industry that you choose, that you worked before back home in India, or you need to decide the kind of background that you come from. If you are into IT, so you would like to work in your IT field, then do you decide to get into the financial sector or the retail sector, which sector? So as I mentioned earlier in the previous session, I would suggest to the newcomers is to keep the industry aside for some time. Start working towards the initial goal of getting a role. So for that, try to see that how the market is maturing itself and what are the certifications, etc., are required. Try to mold your resume based on the requirements of the job description. Please thoroughly read the job description, because a lot of points are mentioned in the job description. They are very pinpointed keywords that they do mention. See that those keywords are incorporated in your resume. These are the very fine points sometimes we tend to miss. And then, as I was mentioning earlier, right, like the right way of approaching the recruiters. I may be right in my way, I may be wrong as well, but this is not it's not something that you come, you just open a bottle and then you get all the solutions. But this is how I approached. It could be different based on the circumstances and situations. So I would like to suggest that, have patience. There will be positions coming out there. And I've been told a lot of times that the market moves based on the seasons or situations. But over the years that I've seen in Canada, the job market is quite high and it's always vibrant throughout the year. There is no high time or low time. But yes, one must definitely have patience. Approach the agencies, talent agencies. Definitely, that would definitely help you. Keep an eye, add them on LinkedIn. Please do reach out to them professionally. Try to stick to the timeline, because there is a work time limit in Canada, which we always respect everyone. Try to not to over jump that, because do understand that even the talent acquisition specialists are human beings at the end of the day. So try to and do if you have given an interview, for example, definitely reply back to them. Send a thank you mail, send that why you like this role, how you like the interview, how it happened, and then what you're looking for in the position. That definitely gives a couple of key points for you to get picked for the role.
Mhm.
This definitely helps. Try to keep everyone in the loop for all the people who have interviewed you. Keep in touch. Even if if you didn't get the role, definitely leave a message saying that I've interviewed. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, and then I'll definitely reach out to you in future positions, to whoever it is on the panel at that time. So these are the few points that would definitely help you to build an asset yourself, because it's a very small market, not that big as our southern market like the United States. So you may land up reaching the same recruiter over and over again in a span of 2 to 3 years. So try to have a concise approach is what I would like to say.
Awesome. So I know I like all the suggestions and advice that you mentioned. But talking about your experience, Venkat, so when you moved here initially, how much time did it take for you to land your first full-time job?
All right. It took close to 2 months, I would say. Initially, 1 month was all the kind of pitfalls that I actually encountered. The suggestions that I mentioned earlier were kind of the pitfalls that I went through, but I learned a lot from them. I took a lot of advice and guidance from a lot of recruiters who were here. They helped me out in building my resume and building a profile, and even a character persona. You have to change the way you approach how to give interviews as well, because what I've observed over the years here is that an interview is kind of a discussion between people, kind of what the role is and what you can do. It's more that what you can do to the role and enhance the role and the position over your stay at the organization, right? I did a lot of research and study of the companies that I was approaching, because that would help you in leveraging and answering the questions that the hiring manager is looking for. I do have an IT background, but I started off in as a operations in the operations side of the financial sector first, and then I started moving into the IT sector of the same industry in finance industry. So that made my mark much easier. So I would say that pick the industry and then start moving. That will definitely help you to leverage to get a good job here.
Great. So you have worked in India as well, right? Before moving to
Right.
Canada, and now
Right.
you're working here. So, would you think like is a work culture any difference that you see here that you would like to mention to our audience?
Yes, the work culture is quite different. The work culture is more cohesive. You have to think independent at the same time, work along with the team, take the team along with you, approach in a way that you bring solution to the table, and try to bring multiple solutions. And that's another way of dealing with things here. Try to tell them that you can be someone could be approached. At the same time, what I have learned working in Canada over the years is that try to finish your work first and then approach others to help them out, and try to be honest with people at your work. If it is possible, definitely. If it is not, tell them that you're going to learn or try to find out about it and then approach them again. So that's easier said than done, but yes, that's the best way to proceed. That's what I've followed, and I've so far not encountered any issues as such. Otherwise, it's one of the best work cultures in Northern American market.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Venkat, for your time. Thank you for sharing all the valuable information for both the videos. I wish you all the best for the future. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you, Sagar. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you and discussing various aspects of my journey in Canada and how to approach the job market. Thank you very much.
Any advice that you would like to give to our viewers on landing a full-time job in this particular field?
I have pretty much task cut out for the people who actually land in Canada and looking for a job opportunity markets. It's pretty simple. The approach should be